Our first guest is a young lady named Haley Rotter. Hi, Haley. Haley is, I'm going to say Haley's never been on the radio before,
That's
so
true.
Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. Be nervous about him.
Yeah. Fear me. Yeah.
Your company is called Finger Lakes Energy Smart Communities Program, and it's tied in with the New York Energy Smart Communities Program. Let's talk a little bit about who, what, and where you are.
Sure thing. Well, NYSERTA is the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority. They were established by state law back in 1975. They run a few different programs that people are familiar with. First and foremost, the New York Energy Smart Program, of which the Energy Smart Communities Program came from.
Offshoot.
Yes, correct. So NYSERTA is funded through what's called the System Benefits Charge, which is a small percentage that is charged on any non-municipal utility bill. And that's for everybody, from renters to homeowners.
I pay it, you pay it,
That's right, business owners, municipalities, industry, you name it. Those funds are collected and go out to fund programs that help people become more energy efficient in buildings. They also fund projects for renewable energy and technology.
Hence, the Finger Lakes Energy Smart Communities Program.
Correct.
How'd you get involved in that?
Well, my employer is actually the Center for Environmental Information. They're a local environmental nonprofit located here in Rochester, and they run a few different programs. I started off as a volunteer with them about 2.5 years ago, and then this opportunity came up for the position, and they encouraged me to apply. I work with a partner, Lee Loomis, to promote NYSERTA's energy efficiency incentive programs in the 9-county Finger Lakes region now.
All right.
Interesting stuff. That's a whole lot of mouthful right there.
It is.
Yeah. So what is
confusing.
What's a typical day on the job like for you?
Sure. Well, because I work in 9 counties, I actually am based in Rochester. I do a lot of travel, but it's a lot of setting up of appointments and presentations, developing partnerships, outreach and education. I do large scale events like trade shows and home shows, to small scale events like neighborhood association, energy fairs, and presentations for business groups, you name it. So it's all across the board.
Is it fun?
It is fun.
Yeah?
I like working with all different kinds of people.
Good. What is the best part? What do you like most about it?
Yeah.
Your position, actually, what you're doing.
Is actually discovering the different groups that are out there in the community who are reaching out and educating people on different topics. And I guess I've just become more familiar with the Rochester community and the Finger Lakes region in general.
Okay.
So that's really nice because I'm from here and I'm learning every day.
Yeah.
You know?
Good.
Well, you have programs for residential, commercial, municipal, industrial, and renewable resources. Let's talk first of all for the average homeowner.
Yes.
Who would use you and why? And how? I guess how is the big thing. Yeah.
Well, actually, what I do as a coordinator, I connect people to opportunities. So the outreach and education piece is key. I let people know about programs that would suit their project. And for homeowners, that is usually upgrades for energy efficiency projects, which would be insulation, a new furnace, air sealing, windows, etc. So the way that they go about doing that actually is to start with what's called an energy audit.
Right.
And the energy audit is also referred to as a comprehensive home assessment. Now, through NYSERTA, the name of the program is the Home Performance with Energy Star program. You may have heard that on radio or TV. Obviously, there is some good advertising going on there.
Some
for
who
NYSERTA.
advertise on this very show.
Great.
That's right.
Great. So we work with what's called a network of BPI certified contractors. You can't just work with anybody. You can't work with your neighbor or your brother. You have to work with what is called a BPI certified
BPI stands for what?
Building Performance Institute.
Great.
And they are trained at different facilities across the state. One training facility is right here in Rochester, MCC, at the Applied Technology Center, where they learn what's called building science, which is how to look at the house from the ground up as a whole system, how all the systems interact together, the heating and cooling systems, the windows, the air or the electric load, and also health and safety hazards are considered a primary area of concern. So it looks at everything. It's called a comprehensive home assessment.
And you will walk someone through that because, as Pat said, it is a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
It can be a little overwhelming.
Exactly.
And some people might just say, the heck with it. It's too complicated.
I understand that. And oftentimes people ask me what they can do, and I'll explain the program in that sense. Contractors are out there promoting the program on their own. I'm actually just explaining the program to homeowners and connecting them to the contractors. So I don't actually do the audit myself.
Right.
I did take the basic course to learn about how it works.
But you're the educator.
I'm the educator, correct. I'm not the auditor. So now companies, some of the bigger names, I'm not going to name names because I don't want to, give any preference to any specific companies. But there's plenty in Rochester. There's actually 30 different companies in Rochester alone. In Monroe County alone that do this work. So a homeowner calls up and asks for an audit. They come into the home. Takes 2 to 3 hours for the contractors to do the audit. Then they write a report which outlines opportunities for upgrades. And the homeowner at that point, they're in the power spot.
Right.
They can decide to do any of the recommendations or none of them. If they want to do some of them, they can finance one a year or a couple a year. There's low interest loans. They could be eligible for up to a $5,000 grant to help them do the projects, and that's dependent on their income level. At 80% of the area median income or below, they could qualify for that grant.
How much is it income?
It's dependent on the size of the household. So 80% of the area median income.
Okay.
You're out.
And you can look that up on the internet.
I wanted to find
You're out. You're the richest guy in this room.
But for landlords, that's also very nice because it's actually dependent on the income of the tenants. So therefore, if you're a landlord, you would base that qualification on your tenant's income. So it can be very beneficial to everybody. And if you're a renter, you could always talk to your landlord about getting involved in the program. There also are low-income programs that help people at 60% of the area median income or below. So there's programs for everybody in terms of residential programs.
She knows her stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting,
Yeah.
honestly, because we talk about all the time in here about going green and how, but they teach a whole course on it now. I mean, and technology is constantly changing, and it's exciting, and it's very forward, and I don't know, it sounds exciting to me.
When did you see this opportunity? Because at some point,
Sure.
your life changed here.
It's true. Well, my background is in marketing and communications, so that left me pretty much with anywhere to go.
Big umbrella there.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Sure.
So I discovered my passion for the environment. I knew I had to get some more education in that field, and I did an internship program at a place called the Solar Living Institute out in California, in a town called Hopland, very small town, Mendocino County.
It has California written all over it.
Yeah, it does. And so the Solar Living Institute was a nonprofit organization that basically hosted workshops on everything in sustainability, ranging from renewable energy to urban gardening, mycology, carpentry, you name it. So I learned kind of the whole spectrum, and I didn't specialize in any one specific area, but it gave me the background to apply for this job and the interest to keep going forward in my career.
Now, here you are in beautiful the San Francisco area.
Yes.
And why did you come back?
That's a big question for me. Yep. So the internship program ended right before the holidays, so I knew I was going to come home for the holidays. After Thanksgiving, I came home for Christmas, and believe it or not, I met a man.
Oh boy!
Oh boy!
That's the last thing I expected you to say.
It's true.
What's his name?
His name's Sean.
Are you still with him?
I am still with him.
Okay, so we can talk about Sean.
All right, yeah, in a good way though, right?
Well, yes,
Yes.
of course.
On the radio.
So, and you decided that he wouldn't go out to San Francisco with you.
Well, his family's here, my family's here,
Yeah.
and I started just exploring the opportunities that were local. So,
Great.
As I said, I started off as a volunteer with this organization, and an opportunity popped up, and I love it. So,
What a great opportunity.
I don't have any regrets.
No plans with Sean? Well, you're
Not on Jeez, Steve.
Sean's going to have a heart attack here. Yes, I'm going to ask him to marry me.
No, he's turning the radio up right now, like, yes, what are your plans?
What does Sean do?
Sean's a history teacher.
Oh, really? Local
Yeah.
local high school?
Yep. Looking for a permanent position. As we know, the education job market is rough.
My son has his master's in American history, and he's trying to.
Right. So you understand.
So we're in competition.
Okay.
Haley, what's your website? We'll tie it in with PropertySourceRadio.com here.
Well, there's a couple websites I'd like to mention. First off is my employer's website, the Center for Environmental Information, www.ceinfo.org.
CEINFO.
.org.
Okay, we'll
You got
link
it.
that at PropertySourceRadio.com.
That would be great.
And the
Thank
other
you.
one?
Is NYSERTA's.
Excellent.
So NYSERTA's residential website, where you'll find all that information about the energy audit program, home performance with Energy Star, is www.getenergysmart.org.
GetEnergySmart.org. And
That's
again,
right.
if you go to our website, Property Source Radio, you will find all that information.
Very good.
Nice job, Haley.
Thank you very much.
Say hi to Sean for us.
Hey, Sean.
We'll be back. Property Source Radio. We're here till 10. We have much more to share with you this morning at Sports Radio 950 ESPN.